I just want solutions. I got the other one. This is
Bring this meeting to order. Stuart City Council tentative agenda, Monday, March 10th, 2025, 6 p.m. Council chambers. Call to order. Morgan. Here. Cobble. Here. Russell. Here. Dolly. Here. Kirkpatrick. Here. Agenda approval.
Need a motion to approve the agenda and the consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Moved by Russell.
Second by Morgan.
Morgan.
How do you vote? Morgan?
Yep.
Cobble?
Yep.
Russell?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick? Yes. Consent agenda, approval of,
That motion was.
oh, sorry. Okay. Number 4, headhunter services to fill open positions.
We put on the, in the packet, summary of all the research that Sila has done, which we put it in as 3 options. Option A is to have the headhunter of the agency hire part-time, full-time, as we wish. They base him, and we reimburse them with fees. Option B is headhunter that strictly go hire full-time, part-time for us with fees as we see it on the layout. Option C is doing what we currently doing, advertise and hire now. Of course, we attach all the details to the process, what they go through and what they do to get us to this point of what's shown on the first page. So now it's up to the council to choose which route. If you want to hire a part-time, full-time, or you want the agency to hire full-time or part-time, it will be with a form of reimbursement with fees. If you want to go ahead and just hire full-time or part-time and reimburse them, that's up to the council. The only things that we didn't show here, and I was discussing with the mayor pro tem, if we decided to go with option B, do you want us to get hold of them before the retirement, actually months or 2 months? Because it doesn't take them long to hire someone. That's for option A. Option A, if you want to hire in the meantime, with that process of like part-time, you guys need to choose and let me know what direction you want to go through, or you're going to go with.
Do we know any other cities or any people that have gone through
Yes.
any of these?
Yeah, Sarah has collected information. What's the name of the city?
I think it was Eden and Winona.
Yeah, do you have contract?
Which they do the contract hourly, or do they do the chunk of salary?
They do option A, they contract out the services, they have their wastewater operation through a third party.
Do we have anybody from any of these companies here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can he maybe come up and give us a little spiel on his part of it?
Say again, I'm sorry.
Huh?
Say again.
I just said, give us your spiel on your part of it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I just.
No, I appreciate it. Real quick,
You guys, it's great that everybody turns off of these. I've been to these before, and usually it's not very, at my town, right? So this is great. But now, so my name's David, I'm a executive with Palmer Group, based out of West Des Moines. We've been in operation for about 27 years. We're an employee-owned company, okay? We service, whether it's engineering, manufacturing, construction, administration, IT, HR, talent acquisition, sales and marketing. What am I missing? I think that's pretty much it. But we do provide services, whether it's direct placement or part-time. We talk part-time contract to hire. As far as those employees goes, does everybody understand what that means, or the difference between those? Okay.
But can you just give us a breakdown anyway?
Yeah, so direct placement means they're your employee. You hire them, there's a fee associated with that, and then the agency receives a percentage of salaries, okay? Even if it's hourly, whatever the estimated hourly is. All right, contract, basically is the employee of the firm who's working for you. And there's a rate, so it's an hourly rate, let's say it's $10 an hour, just for keeping the number simple. The pay to our employee is $10 an hour, but they actually bill for that service, and that could be a whole different range of numbers, okay? So it's gonna be more than the actual hourly pay. That rate covers the company's overhead, taxes, unemployment, all those things. The benefits to that is if there's an employee who's not working out, you just call us, and they say you're done, and they're done. So no liability on your part for that employee. That employee is ours. Direct placement, which is what we do a lot of, is they're your employee. A lot of companies like ours provide a guarantee, so you get that fee that comes with that. There's a guarantee of a specific amount of time. It could be 30 days, it could be 90 days, it could be 180. Ours is typically either 90 days or 180 days. And that guarantee is basically if that person leaves that position for any reason other than elimination of position, we basically will do one of two things. We'll either replace that person at no cost, or we'll prorate that. So the amount of days they've worked versus the amount of days left in the guarantee, we refund you the difference, and we'll square up. All right, that's basically how that works from the recruiting staffing firm side. All right. Us in particular, having been here for so long, we've been around for a long time. We have a lot of connections. We work with over 300 employers across the state, also in other states. We have a location in West Des Moines, we have a location up in Cedar Rapids, and another location up in Wisconsin. And so we provide staffing services to a whole range of companies. You name it, we typically provide services for. Okay.
And this isn't wastewater specific, like if we had other positions that opened up and come to you, this would probably be the same thing for any position?
Correct. So it's a standard, it's a base agreement. And then we do have options if there's a specific position outside of that. We can talk about that. So it's not, that's just a standard base agreement for any position, generally speaking. Okay. But yes, whether it's administrative, whether it's engineering positions such as the water wastewater operator, which of course we work a lot with, not just that position, but also the positions that build the systems, construct the systems, the wastewater plants, so construction. So we work with a lot of clients who are all around that space, not just in the operator space. There's a lot of great connections there.
And if we had a direct placement through you and they stayed here 2 years, is this just that you would get the 25% that it says down here?
One time
Just
fee.
1 year?
That's just one-time fee,
Okay, just one time, and then
whether they stay here for a year or 20.
20, okay.
There's no extra on top of that.
So let's talk about benefits. So if they're like, per se, your employee, do you guys furnish the benefits for that?
We
or
do.
We?
We
Okay.
do. Matter of fact, they also become employee owners after a year. They're eligible for that. So we do a great job taking care of our contract employees. We have a lot of them. In some firms, that's just how they operate, you can pay account well. But yes, there are employees who provide them benefits, PTO. And what we do is through your system of whoever the manager is, would approve hours, we pay them weekly. And so it's just a simple email we send to you, please verify their hours, you verify them or not. And then if there's any issues, employee issues, it depends on how you want to work it. If you want the manager to handle that, you can. If you want us to handle it, we can handle
Is there an opportunity, say this is your employee,
Mhm.
is there an opportunity for like the city of Stuart to like hire that person
it. Yes, sir.
full-time?
So typically within the first 6 months, there is, after 6 months, it's the contract employment. You can convert them to a full-time employee at no cost. You just decide to hire them. Up until then, from what and I don't think it's in the documents in G, but there's a conversion fee. So as time goes on, that conversion fee, so like the direct hire fee, this flat fee, it reduces over time until that 6 months is expired. So it's a great option if you're concerned about making sure you have the right fit. We like to call it a try before you buy type of option. It just really depends on how you guys are set up and what works best for you.
Okay.
Other things to consider with that, I'm gonna add this, is candidates. They might want some security, so they're gonna be looking for something that's direct, right? And so when we start talking about contract, there are people out there who like contract, that's how they live. They just do contracts, that's all they do, and that's okay. But it also provides some challenges. We're trying to convince somebody who was looking for that direct hire opportunity, if it's a great candidate, to get them to accept a contract position.
Okay.
So most of the people that you would have in your pool would prefer the direct hire versus contract, or like.
I would say, yes, I would say it really just depends on the nature of the company and the position and things like that. There's a lot of play there. But if you think about I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, if you think about the demographics of who you're looking to hire and what that person typically looks like or what they're after, typically who they are in this type of position, if it's more of a blue collar worker, you're typically gonna find somebody who wants security, they want direct hire.
Can that, like you said 6 months, that fee goes away or whatever. We can always work something else out, like if we said, hey, we'll do a contract hire and in 3 months, if they work out, we can move them to direct. Have you done that before to maybe give that candidate a little bit more idea that there's security if they perform well in 3 months? Instead of saying like 6 months, can we do something like that? Like you bring somebody in, hey,
Oh, so 90-day conversion.
yeah, I know you want direct, but the city's saying we want 90 days, and then as long as you're performing well, you can go direct.
Yeah, and you can convert them anytime within that 6 months.
Okay.
I would assume that monetarily wise, that the other way, because as long as it's a 90-day guarantee, I would assume it stacks up similarly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to make it sweeter for them, a little bit more comfortable for somebody that's looking for a direct hire, but, we want to do contract.
Right.
Kind of a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. We've done that with candidates when they say, you know what, I don't want to wait 6 months, can I become full-time after 90 days? Yes, you can, that carrot could be out there. We don't set that expectation because it's 6 months, right? You can set that expectation and say, if 90 days performing and we'd like to hire full-time, we will do that. The only difference is if he just starts reducing after so many hours of work.
So do you and your company, do you get with like the city of Stuart and just ask us for like our expectations, like what we're looking for, so you can find that person to try to fit where we're kind of at or what we're looking for?
Great question. So, in our process, my first job as a account executive is to understand exactly who it is you're looking for, right? So I will ask to meet whoever is responsible, the hiring manager, or anybody else in the process, to understand what the technical requirements are of the position, what the qualifications are of the position, the cultural fit for the position. Because the truth is, they can check all those boxes on the technical side, on the quality and experience side, but if they're not a good cultural fit, none of that matters, right? So we want to make sure we find somebody who's a good cultural fit as well. And so, yes, I will meet with you, get all the details that I can, build a relationship, because my goal isn't just to work one position, it's ultimately at some point, maybe we'll work with other positions. And the more I know about the city of Stuart, how you guys do things, the more I can educate any candidates coming in the door about what the position looks like. Basically, I'm selling the city of Stuart. To be honest.
Sir,
I
appreciate your
appreciate your
presentation. It was great presentation, and now I think we just need to decide which direction we need to go.
Were there any more? Any more? That
No, that's-
that was it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I guess my question would be to the council would be, is it something that we're looking to do right now, or do we wait until a month or two before Jim retires? Or do we, if we did go with this gentleman's approach, if we get somebody in here and they're not a good fit, they work next to Jim or whatever, they're not a good fit, then we can replace or do whatever. I guess what does that look like for us?
Let me ask you a question again. Okay, so here's a scenario, just gonna pull it out of air. Say we got somebody is planning to leave the city in like 9 months. How long does it take you to find a new individual? Would you want to wait 2 months before we start looking? Or would you want to
So
start looking?
So you're asking how far in advance
Yes.
will we start the search?
Right.
That's a great question, and it just really depends on the candidate. I've worked with candidates that can't do anything for 2 months.
Mhm.
I've worked with some that are looking, they need a job like yesterday.
Right.
So a lot of times it depends on where the candidate is at in their career and what they're looking for, how soon they're willing to move, do they have a family? There's just a lot of considerations in that. I would say, for this type of position, I would feel comfortable saying 2 months.
Okay. So if we were to accept your proposal right now, we would just have our city manager, or city administrator, just get in touch with you and say, okay, now you need to start the ball rolling, right?
Mhm.
You wouldn't do anything before that, okay?
I got another question. You can feel free to not answer it. So on this, we've reached out, and thank you for reaching out to a bunch of different agencies, but there's essentially 4 agencies that also do contracted as far and direct placement.
Mhm.
Do the 4 or 5 of you, or however many agencies do this, do you guys have overlapping pools of people? Or is your agency, you have this pool where another agency only has this pool, or is this like a giant pool that you all kind of have access to?
Yeah, it's one big lake, we're all fishing in it. Yes.
Mhm.
And so, but that's when we go through the candidate screening process, and we're talking to candidates, we ask them, who are you working with? Because we want to understand where they're at in their process, so I can accurately communicate to you where they're at. Because what we don't want to do is have somebody who's working with 2 or 3 other agencies, they're already 2 interviews into a process, and start trying to, yes, we can present this person, but if we have that conversation and they already have 1 foot in the door somewhere else, then do we want to continue to allocate our resources there, or do we want to allocate our resources somewhere else where we have a better potential for hiring somebody who's a good fit and wants to be here?
Thank you.
And obviously, the other risk they take is, they want to make sure if they're working with a candidate, that candidate isn't working with another firm that's already submitted for a position for the city of Stuart. You have to be, the candidates have to be upfront to make sure there's not, multiple submissions for the same job.
Right. And I'll add, ours is contingent. So basically what that means is you guys can be searching, we can be searching. If you have a candidate comes to your door and you want to hire them, by all means hire them. And it doesn't do anything other than congratulations, great job, you found the right person. That's ultimately what really matters. Do we want to place the person? Yes. But if we don't, that's just the way the business is. We just move forward, right? So it's a great opportunity on a contingent side of things to get your own person, and there's no fee paid or anything. We're just here to help.
I guess my concern to add that, and Ashley's gonna slap me upside the head here, but, and that's where get that person in here sooner than later, because knowledge that's leaving, in a short amount of time, so.
I think, me personally, and yeah, I probably gonna have
He's gonna
different.
say-
I would give you my recommendation that might make sense, and it's close to what you say. And I discussed that with Jim, that why don't we hire a part-time sales agent? Let him work with Jim while he's here to see if Jim likes him and think it's gonna work, we switch him to full-time. That's kinda, our budget's not gonna afford not to be a full-time tomorrow, but it will afford to have someone part-time and he had that option. And he works with Jim, if Jim thinks that's gonna work, we switch him to full-time. The concept that he was just presenting, and that's what you need. Jim, why you don't like that option?
I just don't think, I guess I just don't think that's feasible on a part-time basis. I don't think you understand
No, to be
the
switched to
realm of
full-time.
everything that's involved here.
Okay,
To be switched to full-time.
my reservation would be the pool of people that are willing to do part-time might totally be different than that pool of people that are wanting to jump in on a full-time job. So I don't know, like, if the quality of candidates, if that's gonna be a big difference.
That's kinda where we're here to discuss it, because the presentation was saying that we hire him, telling him that it's part-time to be switched to full-time, it works out. Why don't we take advantage of that? The benefit and all the stuff we don't have to worry about. But the quality of the person who's working will be showing in the next 4 to 5 months. Where Jim is still around, he can even give us more of the evaluation on him. And will be up to Jim to say, yes, it's working or not. And we already gave him the idea that it will switch to full-time. So trying to help the budget, one side, the idea is that Jim is still here to kind of oversee the person who's working, to give us a good evaluation about it. That's my recommendation, but like I said, we can, a second recommendation, you can wait, at least now we know the channel that we can go through to get someone to replace him. So, and they all told us, all the agency has told us that they need from 1 month to 2 months before the actual retirement of the current employee.
Does that sound something feasible? Like he's saying, you bring somebody in part-time, they learn the job, and then they get moved into full-time. I guess my concern is, have you had luck with that, where people like want to work part-time for 9 months, and do they stick around to be moved into full-time?
I wish I could tell you.
It's hard.
It's the most unpredictable product in the world is people.
Sure.
And so it's really hard to say one way or the other on that.
And you may find somebody that has to come from out of state, they're not gonna want to come in for part-time. That's highly qualified, and so they would come in for full-time, and then move their family here if they had one, et cetera. So, but I understand what Ash is saying too. It would be nice to be able to have somebody a lot sooner than 2 months. And I know from talking with Jim that you would like to have them a lot sooner than 2 months.
Yeah, but
There's always the chance that they might not work out too, so.
Yeah, I know, it's just-
Cycle through.
Yeah.
So.
I have a situation right now with another client where somebody had been in 20 years and they wanting to hire somebody because he's retiring in 2 years. They wanted to hire somebody and get him up to speed to take over all the information, everything he's known for 20 years and get it done in 2 years. And so we had that, it was a very good conversation, and ultimately what he wanted somebody younger, right, was ambitious. What we determined is with as much information and experience as this person had, he was not going to be able to have that kind of impact or that time to spend with that new person to get him up to speed where he needed to be. So ultimately what we ended up doing was going for somebody who's experienced at a higher level to come in and can at least hit the ground walking, if not running. So just something to think about.
That's good information.
I guess I know the budget is probably our biggest crutch on this. How many months could we hire a full-time?
I would say, to me, to be fair, I would say 4 months before the actual retirement. Like if
Yeah, I
Jim is
think that's
gonna
what we have
retire.
to.
Yeah, Jim, I'm trying to be even fair to
Yeah.
to the organization. Jim is gonna retire, what, January first, Jim?
Correct.
January first, so maybe 4 months before that, we can go ahead and get, as he presented, get that qualified person to help run, you know?
So we're not that far from that. So if we were March, if we decide to go this route and put this out in June or July and give them a couple months, if we could have them September 1st, gives us the 4 months.
Yeah, that's good guideline.
No, it's not.
That would be okay if this person has the experience, has the certification that we're looking for.
And I think
That was
that's
just what I
pretty
was gonna
much
say, too.
what he's trying to accomplish is 4 months before